everyone! So today in this video, I'm going to share with you some travel hacks when it comes to traveling with kids that have disabilities, whether it's autism, Down syndrome, or if it's a physical disability. I want to give you some travel hacks because we just got back from vacation. And I know it's that time of year where people are going to be traveling to see family. Some people might want to take like a family vacation. I also know summer comes very quickly after the season. So, if it's summertime, travel hacks for you too. So I'm going to give you 5. We're going to focus in on 5. So number 1, well, okay, I'm not going to count this as number 1. It's just going to be like the preliminary one. Not everybody can do this, but if you have a friend or a family member that can come with you to travel, to be that person that if you want to do something a little bit more adventurous with your other kiddos or husband or wife, the child that has the disability can stay back with them, someone that they love and can have fun with. So I know that's hard. I have some very adventurous middle schoolers and teenagers. They want to go river rafting, and it's not always fun to split our party in half, where my husband, and we did that during this vacation, where there would be times that my husband would take the kids and go do something, and I stayed back in the room with my daughter Naomi, who has Down syndrome, and did stuff with her, and then I would go with the boys. Like, we took a 5-mile hike with the boys while my husband stayed back with Naomi. And yeah, it happens. But sometimes you want to do it together as a whole family. So having that extra person is totally great. I am going to remind you that I am putting chapters to all of these, so if you want to skip around, feel free to do so. They're all labeled down in the description box. Also, this is my reminder to you to subscribe if you want to learn more about raising a child with a disability and also homeschooling. So I'm going to jump right into number 2. Sorry, number 1, because that was the preliminary. And you know what? I know some of you guys are on here for practical hacks, and this one, it's not practical per se, but it's so important, so please hear me out, and that is your attitude. I think an attitude can really make it or break it when you're traveling with someone who has a disability, because in all honesty, from a very worldly kind of, it can be a burden to a lot of people that aren't used to it. I'm going to be honest, but when you have to sacrifice time, sacrifice strength, sacrifice a lot of things to make sure this other person is having a good time with you, it's not easy. So you really have to have an attitude adjustment before you go on any kind of vacation. So a couple of tips with an attitude adjustment situation is start to look at things through their eyes. Look at the surrounding nature, look at the people around the adventure that you're going on, the excursion, the people that you're meeting, family members that you're meeting. Look at everything through their eyes and try to be like that little voice on their shoulder to help kind of guide them through all of this. So I had to do that a lot on this vacation with Naomi. I've done it past with a lot of other vacations with Naomi, but I'm a little bit of an adventure girl, okay? Surprise, surprise. I like to hike. I like to go caving, okay? If Naomi wasn't with me, I would be rappelling into a bottomless pit. Trust me, okay? I would. I understand that's not going to happen, but I do want to go into some caves, okay? For example, I realized that she wasn't going to be experiencing the caves the way I would be experiencing them, or the way her older brother or siblings would be experiencing the cave. So I had to get down to her level, physically, literally at her level, and talk her through some of these things. Wow, look at that rock over there. Look how smooth it is. Wow, it's really dark in here. She kept saying it's creepy, it's creepy, it's creepy, but we made something fun out of it. Yeah, it's creepy. And we would laugh. We would try to spot the cave crickets, and there was a bat. We saw a couple bats actually. We just tried to make the most of it. The stairs, going up and down those stairs, that was very challenging. Talking her through them, being her coach. Also, the other people on the tour, some people are embarrassed to bring their child with disabilities on tours because they know that they might slow everybody and be a burden to other people. There is a little bit of hesitancy sometimes with us because we're afraid to burden others, but you know what? Psh, I don't really care. Because you know what? She's a blessing to me and she can be a blessing to others. So I am like a little coach. So when we went down some of those stairs, yes, we did slow down the entire tour, but she had the biggest cheerleading team behind her because I did everything in my power to get every single person on this tour group engaged in trying to cheer her on walking down those stairs. Because you know what? I am not carrying her down 150 stairs. I mean, I would if I have to. We want to cheer her on. We want her to enjoy. We want her to enjoy the process of this whole experience. Do expect to slow down. That's another thing. Expect it. And if you don't slow down, it's going to be a blessing that you don't slow down. You know, one of the things that Naomi did when we were, this is just like even at the supermarket sometimes, or just randomly, seriously, like crossing the street sometimes, she will just say, you know what, I'm done, I'm sitting. She's pops a squat, middle of the street, middle of the cave tour, middle of the store, and she just doesn't want to move. And I don't know why she does that, but now that she's like 7, she's getting physically difficult to pick up. Especially when she doesn't want to be picked up and we're in public, she turns into a rag doll. We got to find ways with our words to encourage them and communicate to them, you know, I know this is hard, but you can do this. We got to keep going. You got this, girl. I say you got this, girl, like a million times all the time to her. Just constantly being positive, constantly expecting those slowdowns and the need to accommodate for them at all times. So expect those things, and when they don't happen, you have a reason to cheer. Another thing is, just to add to this, is you want to make every step forward a celebration. The whole entire tour group that we were on were cheering her on through this entire cave for 2 miles. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy, okay, but she so enjoyed it. And I will be so honest, from my just, this is me, okay? She's a part of my family. There's been times where people say, you know, why don't you just leave her home, leave her back with Abuela or something like that. I don't want to leave her behind. Even though she may not remember all these details, we have pictures. Her siblings remember them, that we incorporate her into our family because she is a part of our family, and we will do whatever we can to make sure it's enjoyable for her, because it is not fair for her to miss out on these experiences just because she has a disability. She was like my best friend on this trip. Her siblings are watching me and how I respond to her, and they're becoming her best friend and cheering her on. And they pick up on this. So you do get moments of breaks when siblings jump in there and start becoming best friends and seeing things through her eyes and cheering her on and all the things. So that is my number 1 hack, and I've got 4 others. So I'm going to jump into some more practical things. So yeah. Number 2, we have this wagon. It's amazing. I'm going to put a link down in the description box below. But this thing is like meant for hikes, meant for adventures. And it's so compact and compatible and just all the things, because as a child with a disability, you sometimes don't always want to use a wheelchair or a stroller. Like they're kind of, you know, they're grown out of the stroller thing. But a wagon's kind of cool, especially if you get like a cool like nature wagon. So we got this wagon. I love it. It's in the link down below. This one we didn't get. We did not get this, but there was a lady there on the hike with a child that actually had Down syndrome that had one of these things, a child backpack, and her child was not like a toddler or anything like that. She was like 6 or 7 on the back. And I kept thinking to myself as I carried my daughter on my back, piggyback style, how I wish there was some more support for my back. Link in the description box below, the one that she had, number 4. Medicine, we get it. You're going to remember medication for them. That's something that when you have a child with a disability that's on medication, health conditions too, it's up there in the front of the line. You're not going to forget medication. But there's other things that you also want to bring that's kind of soothing and helpful. So for example, you know, up in the cold, if it's cold, chapped lips happen. So of course chapstick and lotions and anything that kind of soothes that, essential oils, think about all of those things. Like just bring the entire cabinet. And then if you're coming down to Florida, like, you know, bring the sunscreen and get the hypoallergenic sunscreen. I know like certain beaches, you have to be careful with this in Florida too. There's certain beaches because of the coral, like if you go down south or even if you go down on a cruise to like the Bahamas and the islands and stuff, there's certain sunscreens that you have to purchase that are regulated so certain chemicals don't leach into the water and all the things. So please check on that. And also check on the allergies. Floaties, if you come down here, make sure there's some kind of flotation device and that you get them used to wearing those things. So that's actually jumping into number 4 for me, is that there are certain things that you might wear that they may not be comfortable with. And so there is this process of getting them prepared to wear those things. Floatings and bathing suits aren't always the most comfortable things for kids that have some sensory processing stuff going on. So try them out before you go. Have them wear them around the house. Now, sometimes bathing suits aren't going to happen, so you kind of have to find some kind of shirt that can stand in for a bathing suit. Same is true if you're going up north. There are things that you're going to wear. A sweater, gloves. For those of you guys that drive to your destination, I would highly, highly recommend considering driving at night. There's not good things about driving at night, okay? One, deer. Also, like, you're tired. You know what I did? I made sure I had, like, no caffeine, like, 2 weeks prior to my trip. And then on my trip, I had some nice, really good green tea with me. But I like driving at night. And the reason I think it's good really for anybody who is traveling with kids, they sleep. And when they sleep, you don't hear all the uncomfortness that they are going through. I mean, of course, you can throw in a movie, you can stop frequently. Yes, of course, stopping frequently is a must with kids in general, whether they have disabilities or not. But if you can travel through the night, for me, I really consider that like a huge hack, because you don't have to deal with the uncomfortability, is that even a word, that they may be experiencing as you're traveling long distance. If you have any hacks that I didn't mention and you want to share it with everybody else, please put them in the description box below, because we want to share here. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.